Guys, just a few things before the video actually, the tutorial actually starts. Now, I know I've made a video and I want to apologize for that, but guys, I'm coming up and a lot of things to do. But yeah, most of you have been asking me, like, commenting on my videos, my dribbling videos with Messi, asking me how I do what I do, and I just try to make this tutorial. I've made one before, but it seemed like it didn't help a lot, and I made this one. Hopefully, this actually helps you guys out. But if you guys have any critique, like, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, before the video starts, I just want to mention a few things. So keep this in mind: parallels and diagonals. And yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, now just check this out right here. Now you see that little animation there? It's because it's Messi. That's why the game did that for me right there. So let me just walk you through my thought process, right? Okay, so like, remember what I said at the beginning of this video? Put these two words into your head: diagonals and parallels, right? Okay, now you see right here, this player is diagonal to me. Now I can do two things. I can either cut to the right or to the left. Now this is one thing you should know. When a player is diagonal to you like this, if you're facing them, like if you're facing, like your player is facing them, it's usually smart to cut away from the player and not towards the player, because then they can stick a leg out and kind of like hinder you a little bit. But like this, it's usually best to cut away from the player, and that's exactly what I do right here. See, and the game does like a little animation for me because I did the right thing at the right time. So that's why like they reward you by doing that little animation, because that had nothing to do with me. I didn't do anything there. Now in terms of parallels, this is very basic. Now parallels, what does that mean? I'm talking about when the player is like parallel to your player, like sort of like side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Now the best thing to do here obviously is to cut to the right. Now there are two things you don't want to do here, right? So now, first of all, when you're moving like this, like, let me put normal speed, I think. Yeah, right. When you're moving like this, you're sprinting. Any player like marking you, no matter how good the player is, they're gonna be sprinting too, unless of course like they guess. Like sometimes players guess, right? They'll kind of like jockey and try to speed, like when you're gonna make the cut. But when you're sprinting, that's the best time to like actually dribble. So that's why I like using fast players like Lionel Messi, because if the player is slow, it doesn't matter. Like it won't work half the time. So I like using fast players like Lionel Messi. Now see what happens? He's running real fast, right? So if you notice what I did here, I took my hand off sprint and I just cut slightly to the right. Now, why did I do this? There was a reason why I did this, because if you're playing against people online, they're going to kind of expect you to do that because you're parallel to them, right? Now, when you make this cut, most people use the sprint button to do it. Now, what if you use the sprint button to cut to the right here because you're parallel to the player, he will push it a little bit further to the right. What you notice online is the opponent will circle like sort of like in a clockwise motion and intercept the ball. So why I always do this subtle movement right here is so that when they do that clockwise movement again, they're gonna be diagonal to me now. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but normally when you cut like this online against experienced players, Sergio Ramos, the player right there, Sergio Ramos is gonna like sort of turn around to try and like anticipate like the turn, and then I can cut back to the left hand side of Messi. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah, parallels, you always want to take your hand off sprint for parallels. Take your hand off sprint and then cut in to the left. So now those are the two things I want you to remember: diagonals and parallels. Like right here, I got a little bit cocky. I was trying to like dribble too much, and I kind of lost the ball. But yeah, that's basically it. So I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do more examples. Okay, so I just considered against the AI in legendary, so I decided to score because ever since I just been joking around trying to dribble, so I just like, okay, let me score. So basically, this is a perfect example of how I dribble. Now, I've made a video about dribbling before, and in that video I mentioned using sprint in burst. Now, this is what I mean by using sprint in burst. Now, watch this. I'm gonna walk through my thought process. So this is right off kickoff. Boom, just like that. All right. Now it's pretty easy. So this is basically what I was doing, right? So now so right here I held the sprint button, I got close to a player, I'm still holding the sprint button, like kind of like, okay, actually no, that's wrong. Okay, right here I held the sprint button for a bit, took my hands off it, tapped it again, now took my hand off sprint, made a cut, boom. it would always work like that. If the player sees you sprinting and then you just take your hand off sprint and make a cut, like I said before, look at the position of the player, right? What was this? He's parallel to me, right? Boom. It will work every time. What's this again? He's parallel to me. Boom. He goes. Boom. Just like that, right? So it's all about watching the player's movements. You see how he's running? You see here, Pepe? Look at his movement. He's expecting me to keep going the same way. See how where Messi is going? So that's where the player is trying to go because he thinks I'm going to make a run towards that direction. But immediately he positions himself parallel to me. I just cut in back to the position he was. See? Just like that. This guy up here again, it happened too quickly, but this guy, Ramos, he tried to block my path again by being parallel to me. Simple. Just change the direction like that, and it's a goal. I don't know if like this tutorial actually helps, but that's basically how I dribble now. That's like the key to my dribbling in general, because I like using fast players like Messi, because that's the best time to dribble. Because when players are chasing after you, it's hard for them to react when you make a cut like that. Half the time they just kind of like circle clockwise, and then the second man is marking you from behind. But right off kickoff, it's very easy to score this kind of goals because second man marking won't really help that much because all the players are in front of you, right? So yeah, so I was using sprint and bust here. I wasn't holding the button all the way. I was just tapping it, so that way I can easily take my hand off it and like change directions quickly.
Okay, that's it for the video. I actually wanted to add like some more stuff to it, but I actually I cut the video short because it was getting too long, and I wasn't sure if I wasn't really confident in what I was uploading, if it was actually going to help per se. But I think if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I try my best to explain because it's not like explaining like skill moves or anything like that. What all you have to do is just call out the direction of the button. This actually has to do with creativity and all that shit. And depending on how you develop and where you practice, your dribbling style is even better than mine, or even like different than mine. That's what I meant to say. But even better. Why not? Could be better than mine. But it's like the way Messi dribbles. It's not a consistent thing. You just got to adapt to the situation. I'll just basically give you training wheels, sort of, on how to dribble. You gotta know is like dribbling in general in this game, even in real life, is all about knowing the opponent's rhythm, how they're moving, memorizing their movements, and kind of like being able to tell what they're thinking from the way they're controlling the players. So it's all about like sprint control. So basically knowing when to sprint or knowing how to break a sprint abruptly and change directions quickly, or depending on how the opponent is moving. It's all of that. You have to be able to read your opponent and know, like, when they're parallel to you, diagonal to you, and stuff like that. Those little subtle movements. That's basically what it is. Just understanding the opponent's rhythm and dribbling them is just that easy. And I hope that helps. And if it didn't or you have questions, let me know in the comment section below. Until next time.